Since 2020, the world has been experiencing historic moments, and each year thereafter, the planet has descended an unpredictable path of extraordinary events. What will 2025 on a 𝐶𝑜𝑝𝑦𝑟𝑖𝑔ℎ𝑡 bring to surpass everything we've seen so far? Why, from 2020 onwards, does each year seem to exceed expectations and, negatively, the year before? Get ready, because you are about to discover the 7 prophecies for the year 2025. Prophecy of number 7. Most videos of this nature are full of prophets who died centuries ago. However, even today, new figures continue to emerge who claim to have the gift of clairvoyance, saying they can see the future and warn humanity of unspeakable calamities. One of them is Anand, a young Indian who, at just 18 years old, has been compared to his own Nostradamus and captivated worldwide attention thanks to his prophecies based on Vedic astrology, an Indian astrological system with more than 5,000 years of antiquity. Anand predicted a 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Taiwan, which actually happened in April 2024. His words were, "A major earthquake could affect areas around the Pacific Ring of Fire before April 2024, and Taiwan should be alert." Anand also warns us that 2025 will be a year of strong economic recession, with severe impacts on global markets. He foresees is accentuated in emerging markets, accompanied by a collapse of large sectors of the economy, triggering an unprecedented financial crisis. Furthermore, he warns that the weakening of international trade will be a determining factor in the economic slowdown, leading to shortage of essential resources, uncontrolled inflation, and a wave of bankruptcies and unemployment in several countries. According to him, the stars indicate that this crisis will not be temporary, which could take years to reverse. But economic problems will not be the only challenges of 2025. Anand also predicts a significant increase in tensions in the Middle East and Asia, with a worsening of rivalry between China and Taiwan. According to him, the conflict can leave the diplomatic field and escalate to direct military confrontation, involving global powers like the United States and Russia, triggering a domino effect of catastrophic proportions. If this prediction comes true, the world could face one of the most unstable moments in modern history, where economic crisis and war intertwine, impacting all continents. Based on the accuracy of some of his previous prophecies, which have now come true, perhaps we should pay more attention to the signs that accumulate before us. Prophecy of number 6, called by some the sleeping prophet for receiving his revelations in a trance state, Edgar Cayce. He is one of the most renowned modern prophets, due not only to the number of prophecies he uttered, but also to their accuracy. Its scholars and followers believe that the recent news related to the city of New York brought to mind this 20th century North American prophet, and made its researchers draw attention to some of his prophecies, which seem to be about to be fulfilled. One of these pieces of news refers to a study published on the phenomenon of depopulation of New York, caused by high costs of living, personal crises arising from the pandemic, and the growing number of urban zombies, homeless people, and people addicted to fentanyl, who roam the city, drugged, and in desperate search of money for their next fix. Furthermore, another study points to the gradual sinking of the city, indicating that New York may soon be completely submerged. In one of his books, Cayce described a vision in which he was traveling in a cigar-shaped ship, which hovered over a New York unrecognizable. According to Cayce, the buildings were partially submerged in water, and the flooded streets were practically deserted, populated only by desolate, disheveled beings that wandered like specters. Many content creators on YouTube and TikTok have published videos revealing a hidden and frightening side of New York. Focusing on areas that appear to have come out of a dystopian series. The videos show deserted squares and streets, taken by tents and camps of people living on the streets, many of them addicted to fentanyl, in constant search of a dose that temporarily alleviates his brutal reality. The urban environment has become a reflection of a social collapse, where poverty and abandonment coexist side by side with the opulence of the city that never sleeps. Furthermore, the number of rats circulating on the surface increased drastically, which, according to the videos, would be related to the waters that invade the subsoils, causing these creatures to move onto the streets. This scenario of decadence and chaos coincides with the vision that Edgar Cayce had of the city many years ago. Scholars who follow Cayce's prophecies believe that 2025 will be a crucial year for the fulfillment of this apocalyptic vision of New York. They point out that, in recent times, there have been a series of UFO sightings confirmed by Pentagon, many of them described with cigar shape, exactly the kind of flying object that Cayce mentioned in his prophetic vision. In his vision, Cayce would have boarded one of these ships, from where he witnessed the destruction and suffering of the Big Apple. He believed that these flying objects would be a foreshadowing the fulfillment of his terrible prophecy, indicating that a sequence of catastrophic events was about to transform the city into a true scene of ruin. And desolation. If this view is correct, the question that remains is, are we really on the brink of a grim fate for New York in 2025? Prophecy of number 5. To magazine. The Economist is known for its impactful covers, which often address topics and events that could shape the global scenario in the following year. His often cryptic illustrations have proven so accurate over the years that the publication has gained a reputation as the magazine that predicts the future. Every year, The Economist launches a special edition full of symbolic graphic elements which allude to geopolitical, economic, and social trends that can mark the coming period. Although their covers are based on studies and analysis, many believe there is something deeper in these representations, interpreting them as prophetic messages about the destiny of the world. The special edition for 2025, The Thief, has already been published and features a design dark and unsettling, with predominant tones of black, gray, and red, colors that for some represent danger, instability, and imminent threat. The central highlight of the cover is Donald Trump, suggesting that he will be the most influential political figure of the year. Furthermore, other intriguing symbols, as a vaccine, one map highlighting Asia and Africa, and alarming icons, as an atom, an explosion, and Russian President Vladimir Putin, leading many to speculate about a possible nuclear conflict or even the beginning of the Third World War. Another striking detail is a watch about to run out, which suggests that time to avoid a major global crisis may be running out. Furthermore, an eye positioned behind the figure of Xi Jinping raises suspicions about a possible advancement of technological surveillance and artificial intelligence, increasing concerns about a future increasingly controlled and monitored. Some experts interpret these elements as signs that China's patience towards Taiwan could end in 2025, which would lead to a possible complete annexation. of the island and a global military response. Other unsettling details include symbols of radioactive energy, Chinese currency, and a world in apparent collapse, reinforcing the idea that 2025 could be a critical year for global stability. The enigmatic elements of the 2025 cover Donald Trump in the spotlight. His central figure suggests that he will be the most influential personality of the year, which may indicate a possible re-election in the United States or a decisive participation in global politics. The clock about to run out. This detail raises questions about the time remaining before a major destabilizing event, be it an economic collapse, a military conflict, or an unprecedented social crisis. Vladimir Putin, next to an explosion and an atomic symbol. The presence of the Russian leader, combined with images that refer to destruction, suggests the possibility of a nuclear conflict, geopolitical tensions in Ukraine, or even a new Cold War. A map highlighting Asia and Africa. This may indicate that these continents will play a crucial role in 2025, whether due to economic issues, territorial disputes, or humanitarian crises. Symbols of radioactive energy and global chaos. The presence of icons linked to radiation suggests concerns about nuclear weapons, environmental disasters, or large-scale technological meltdowns. An eye behind the figure of Xi Jinping. This image reinforces speculation about the advancement of technological surveillance, indicating that China may be expanding its control through artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and massive monitoring systems. A vaccine in evidence. What does this detail mean? One new global pandemic may be on the horizon? Or is it a reference to political and economic disputes involving the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industry? Interpretations of the 2025 cover. The history of The Economist cover hits makes many analysts take these images very seriously, although the themes may seem abstract, pasty. Editions have already anticipated events such as the 2008 financial crisis, the rise of artificial intelligence, Brexit, and even the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. For some, these covers are just a reflection of the geopolitical and economic analyses made by the editors. However, for others, there is something deeper behind these messages, something that anticipates big changes before the public even notices the signs. With so many alarming elements, the edition of 2025 may be warning us that a period of great transformation is approaching, possibly involving war, economic crisis, and a collapse in global balance. The big question that remains is, are we ready for what's to come? Given the history of hits on the covers of The Economist, many analysts and enthusiasts believe that this new edition may be bringing a silent warning about the challenges to come. After all, are we facing an accurate forecast of what awaits us next year? Prophecy of number 4, known as the Nostradamus of the Balkans, the prophetess. My father continues to intrigue scholars and enthusiasts of paranormal phenomena. Even after his death, his predictions continue to be analyzed, as many of them appear to have been fulfilled with impressive accuracy. To 2025, Baba Vanga would have predicted nothing less than the beginning of the Third World War, a conflict that, according to their visions, would begin in spring in the Northern Hemisphere and would originate in the East, destroying the West. This prophecy has been widely debated, especially given the current geopolitical scenario. Some scholars suggest that the war between Russia and Ukraine could be the catalyst for this great global conflict, which would involve military powers such as the United States, China, and Europe. Another alarming detail in Baba Vanga's predictions is that the collapse of the Syrian government would be the prelude to this war, an event that has happened recently, leaving the country devastated and vulnerable. To external interference. Furthermore, in his visions, Baba Vanga mentions that the president of the largest country in the world, possibly referring to Russia, would become the new global leader, assuming the role of main world power, while Europe would be reduced to a desert. If this prophecy comes true, the world could be on the brink of one of the most chaotic and destructive moments in modern history. Faced with rising global tensions, the arms race, and the weakening of international alliances, could it be possible that Baba Vanga's prophecy for 2025 is closer to reality than we imagine? Prophecy of number 3. Isaiah was an ancient Hebrew prophet and is part of the major prophets of the Old Testament. The book of Isaiah is the most extensive compendium of prophecies in the Bible and also one of the most influential as, in addition to predicting the coming of Jesus Christ, also describes the history of Israel from ancient times to the present. Although Isaiah does not specifically mention the year of 2025, he presents an interesting prophecy about the Syria, which appears to have begun to be fulfilled, and whose final outcome could occur this year. No chapter 17, verse 3, it is written, "The entire kingdom of Syria will cease to exist, as will the city of Damascus." Furthermore, the text mentions that the northern cities, which are the pride of Israel, will be left without walls. There will be no more fortresses in Ephraim, no royalty in Damascus. Isaiah and the prophecy about Syria. Could 2025 be the decisive year? Isaiah was one of the most important Hebrew prophets of antiquity and is part of the major prophets of the Old Testament. Your book, in addition to being the most extensive prophetic compendium of the Bible, is also one of the most influential, then not only predicted the coming of Jesus Christ, but also described the rise and fall of kingdoms, in addition to revealing events that, according to scholars, are yet to happen. Among his countless prophecies, one in particular draws attention today: the total destruction of Syria, which, for many, can be fulfilled in 2025. No chapter 17, verse 3, Isaiah writes, "The entire kingdom of Syria will cease to exist, as will the city of Damascus." Furthermore, he describes that the cities of the north, which are the pride of Israel, will be left without walls. There will be no more fortresses in Ephraim, nor royalty in Damascus. The prophecy and the current scenario. The imminent destruction of Syria? For centuries, this prophecy was seen as something distant or symbolic, but the modern geopolitical scenario suggests that it may be about to be fulfilled. Assyria has been a battlefield for years, suffering internal devastation and foreign interference, becoming a fragmented territory. The country no longer has a stable government structure, and its territory is competed by different groups, including Syrian rebels, Iranian forces, extremist militias, and Russian troops. Capital, Damascus, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, has already suffered severe attacks and may be on the verge of complete destruction. If Isaiah's prophecy is interpreted literally, the Syria will cease to exist as a nation, possibly being taken or divided by other powers like Iran, Turkey, Russia, or even Israel. Syria as a key player in the final confrontation. Another interpretation of this prophecy suggests that the destruction of Syria will be one of the events that trigger an even greater conflict, possibly the final battle between the forces of the Antichrist and the Israeli troops led by the Messiah. Some scholars associate this prediction with a great invasion from Iran, which, according to Islamic tradition, would be led by Mahdi, the long-awaited Muslim Messiah. For Christians, this figure can be seen as the Antichrist, which will bring together a large army to attack Israel, passing through Syria as an invasion route. If this interpretation is correct, 2025 could be the year this conflict escalates to unimaginable proportions, culminating in the final battle prophesied in Apocalypse, Armageddon, which will take place on Mount Megiddo. Damascus, which was once in the center of ancient civilization, may be about to become an epicenter of destruction, sealing the fate of Syria and, perhaps, the Middle East as a whole. Will this be the definitive battle that will mark the beginning of the end times? Prophecy of number 2. Nostradamus and the Prophecies for 2025. A year of climate crises and technological revolution? The name Nostradamus needs no introduction. Considering the most famous prophet in history, his predictions are widely known for describing apocalyptic events and global catastrophes. Even centuries after his death, his quatrains continue to be analyzed and reinterpreted in light of modern events. Interestingly, Nostradamus mentioned directly the year 2025 in several of his prophecies, describing confused seasons and rising water levels, which many interpret as a reflection of the intensification of climate change. Climate crises. Will 2025 be the year of environmental collapse? The website Astrophy, an expert in the analysis of Nostradamus's prophecies, suggests that 2025 will be marked by extreme climate events, bringing record floods in different regions of the world, causing population displacements and mass destruction. Devastating droughts, compromising agricultural production, and increasing global food insecurity. Storms and hurricanes of unprecedented intensity, resulting in incalculable economic and social impacts. Nostradamus's predictions coincide with scientists' warnings about rising global temperatures and rising ocean levels, which are already threatening coastal communities and entire islands around the planet. But Nostradamus's prophecies for 2025 are not just limited to the environment. The fusion between man and machine, the milestone of artificial intelligence? Another intriguing excerpt from Nostradamus's quatrains mentions, "Man and machine will become one." Many experts interpret this phrase as a reference to the accelerated advancement of artificial intelligence, AI, and your irreversible integration with humanity. In 2025, we could be facing the advancement of general AI, where machines can make complex decisions without human intervention. The increased automation, eliminating millions of traditional jobs and creating a new class of unemployed. The integration of artificial intelligence with the human body, through neural chips and cybernetic prosthetics, leading to fusion between man and machine. This prediction also resonates with ambitious projects already underway, such as those developed by technology companies and billionaires like Elon Musk, who work to create direct interaction between the human brain and artificial intelligence. Submerged Amazon, an ecological disaster of biblical proportions. Another disturbing excerpt from Nostradamus's prophecies appears to describe an ecological disaster in the Amazon, calling her the Garden of the World, which would be submerged in water contaminated with sulfur. This raises several hypotheses. The collapse of the Amazon due to rampant deforestation, resulting in catastrophic weather events. One big flood in the forest, caused by drastic changes in weather patterns, or even for an unexpected geological event. The contamination of the region by spill of chemical or radioactive products, transforming one of the richest ecosystems on the planet into a destruction scenario. Volcanic activity in the Amazon region, releasing sulfur into the atmosphere and polluting rivers and lakes. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the world, and its destruction could trigger a chain reaction that would affect the planet's entire climate. 2025, the year of breaking point? Although many of Nostradamus's predictions are interpretive and open to debate, the advancement of the climate crisis and technology suggests that 2025 could be a decisive year for humanity. Be it for environmental disasters, merging with machines, or unforeseen events, next year could mark a point of no return for the future of the planet. Are we prepared to face these changes? Or will 2025 be the year in which humanity faces its greatest environmental and technological challenge? Prophecy of number 1, created in 1947 by the editorial committee of University of Chicago, Bulletin of Atomic. Scientists, the so-called doomsday clock, has been warning for decades about a single terrible fate. The world is counting down to its end. Based on global analyses and scientific calculations, the clock symbolizes how close we are to catastrophe that could exterminate humanity. In 2024, the doomsday clock got to the point closer to midnight of its entire history. 90 seconds. To understand the gravity of the situation, just remember that during the Cold War, at the height of Cuban Missile Crisis, the biggest nuclear incident of the 20th century, the clock ticked 2 minutes to midnight. Today, we are just 1 minute and 30 seconds. Experts predict that for 2025, the clock may advance further, maybe for 30 seconds to midnight, due to the launch of Russia's warning nuclear missiles against Ukraine and authorization from the 𝑖𝑟 for the use of long-range weapons against Russian territory. Second, Vladimir Putin, that already sets up an undeclared war between Russia and NATO. 𝐶𝑜𝑝𝑦𝑟𝑡𝑖𝑔ℎ𝑡. Addition to nuclear danger, the doomsday clock now also takes into account the climate change. Many scientists believe that 2025 will be the point of no return, where the global carbon emissions will reach such high levels that the environmental collapse will become irreversible, even with emergency measures. Although not a prophecy in the traditional sense, the doomsday clock has been the most accurate and alarming prediction of all, reflecting the consensus among scientists that humanity is at a self-destructive path. Cruel irony. When this prediction is fulfilled, there will be no one alive to confirm its accuracy. Whether this is all just a coincidence or a sum of undeniable signs, we still don't know. Maybe we are closer than ever to the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. That's it? Is 2025 the year the puzzle pieces finally fall into place? The future is surrounded by mysteries, but one thing is certain. He has never been so uncertain, so close, and so revealing. 2025 mysteries that are yet to be unraveled. Many. Have you ever wondered about the mysteries of biblical prophecies and how they are being fulfilled before our eyes? This is the time to understand the signs of the end times and the divine plan that is unfolding. On our channel, you will find in-depth analysis of prophetic events such as the arrival of the Antichrist, the rebuilding of the Temple in Jerusalem, and the role of global powers in the 2030 Agenda. We explore topics such as advanced technology, and its connection to Scripture, offering clear, grounded insight to strengthen your faith and prepare you for the times to come. By subscribing to the channel, you will have access to exclusive and transformative content that unveils the mysteries of the Scriptures, explained in a simple and practical way. Our mission is to help you understand current events from a biblical perspective, while building a community of people committed to seeking the truth and living according to God's plans. Don't waste time. Each video could be the answer you were looking for. Click the subscribe button right now and activate the bell so you don't miss any content. This is more than a channel. It is a call for you to prepare and strengthen your faith. Time is running out, but those who trust in Christ are safe. Sign up today and discover how to fully live what God has in store for you. Don't forget to download our book, The Secret Behind Biblical Prophecies. There are already more than 500,000 𝑟𝑒𝑝𝑜𝑠𝑠 copies sold, and we are at the last units, so don't waste time and enjoy. I guarantee that you will acquire a lot of knowledge after reading this sensational book, written with great care and love for all the subscribers of our channel, completely based on the Holy Bible. The link is in the first pinned comment.